Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Simply Cyber Daily Cyber Threat Brief. Hopefully, everything is working. Oh, that's fun. I had YouTube going. YouTube, you crazy thing. Jumping in my little intro. What were you thinking? Welcome, everyone. Though today is October the 3rd, Friday. Hopefully, everyone can hear me well. I was up late last night making sure audio things do audio things. Let me tell y'all something. Good, Jared. Let me know in the chat, by the way, if microphones are coming through, because that's going to be awesome. If it's not, then we've got a little work to do, and that's not going to be awesome. But like I said, I spent a lot of time last night trying to make sure that, well, you can actually hear what it is that I'm saying, and that'll be great. So if you could just drop a comment and go, "Hey, thumbs up, Daniel." I can actually hear you. So great stuff this morning. Great stuff. This is a daily cyber threat brief number 976. And for those that, thank you, Devin, for letting me know that. Those of you that grew up in the 90s, you remember 976. It was a special thing. It was, I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. Hopefully not. But this is Daily Cyber Threat Brief, number 976. And man, are we going to have a good time today. Got a lot of stories. This is where we go through the news. For those of you that are new, we go through the news. We look at the headlines for today from the CISO series, and we check it out. If your audio is off level, blame AI. Absolutely. Stinking AI. Get you every time. We're going to go through the news. We're going to look at a bunch of articles, and we're going to see what can we learn. We're going to try to really apply some actual cybersecurity knowledge, understanding, help you skill up, help us all skill up to be better at this practice. You also can earn CPEs for watching the entirety of this episode. How many CPEs you ask? I don't know. I don't know. Ask the chat. They'll probably know what it is. But I do know that you do earn CPEs, or I think it's half a CPE, but don't quote me. It's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, we'll also have Jawjacking later today. We also have James McQuiggan's dad jokes at the mid-roll. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fire. And that is exactly what we're going to be working on today. Hopefully you are all doing well. I got to tell y'all something. I'm just going to get real here for just a hot minute. We should all just drop Jerry a big old thank you for what you do, Jerry, because I'm going to tell you right now, all this setup to get this show every day is not an easy thing to do. That's not an easy thing to do at all. There's a lot going on. I got your chat. I got all the articles, which I had to go and grab so that I could show them to you. On the screen. I've got to have Restream up and running. It's got to be grabbing my microphone and audio from the website, which have to go through a mixer to get to. There's a lot of moving parts in this show. So everybody show Jerry some love. He pulls it off every day for the most part without any hiccups. Every now and then he has some audio issues, but I think that now I have sympathy for the man. when those audio issues creep up on him, I'm like, oh no, that's what's up. That checks out, because there is tons of moving parts to make this show go off. But we're gonna have a good time today. Hopefully you're ready for the news today. There's some interesting looking articles. I didn't read them. I just saw the headlines. So man, is it gonna be wild, I'm sure. But we're gonna hopefully dig in and find out some really cool stuff. Make us think, make us a little better at what we do, this cybersecurity thing we love so much. Before we do that, though, we have to hear a word from our sponsors. So let's do that. Jerry's going to bring that to us. One moment here.
Want to give some love to Fortify 365, the Microsoft 365 configuration solutions from Barricade Cyber Solutions. Barricade Cyber brings you all the knowledge in the incident response form, but they are also quite adept at helping you configure and set those protection controls for your M365 instance. Go to fortify365.com today to talk to Eric Taylor and the team over at Barricade Cyber, and make sure that you are taking full advantage of all the configurable security controls that you have in your M365 instance. Fortify365.com today. Also want to give some love and some shouts to Anti-Siphon Training. Holla, holla, holla at Anti-Siphon Training, the group that is disrupting the traditional cybersecurity training industry by offering high-quality, cutting-edge education at a discounted rate for so many people out there. Their rates are insane. Some of their courses free or pay what you can. It's amazing. Go to antisyphontraining.com today. Check their upcoming live training, their on-demand training. Government and military discounts. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. I love it. Maybe not government and military discounts. I made a mistake. They've just aligned their training to the NIST NICE framework. Also pretty awesome. Thank you, anti-training.com. And of course, as always, we've got ThreatLocker kicking it. We'll hear from them and then back to the news. I want to give some love to the Daily Cyber Threat Brief sponsor, ThreatLocker. Do zero-day exploits and supply chain attacks keep you up at night? Well, worry no more. You can harden your security with ThreatLocker. Worldwide, companies like JetBlue trust ThreatLocker to secure their data and keep their business operations flying high. ThreatLocker takes a deny-by-default approach to cybersecurity and provides a full audit of every action allowed or blocked for risk management and compliance. Onboarding and operation is fully supported by their US-based Cyber Heroes support team. Get a free 30-day trial and learn more about how ThreatLocker can help prevent ransomware and ensure compliance. Visit threatlocker.com/dailycyber.
Well, that was great. Thank you so much, Jerry, for running those ads for me because I probably would have butchered all of that. So that's probably a smart idea on Jerry. Jerry's a thinker. Jerry's got that brain power going on. Good job. All right. So that means that it is time for us to get into the news. So, this is going to be fun because it's kind of like spinning plates, juggling, and then comforting a crying baby all at the same time. with the crazy setup I got going on here. So let's see here. I am going to do this, then this.
From the CISO series, it's cybersecurity headlines.
These are the cybersecurity headlines for Friday, October 3rd, 2025. I'm Steve Prentice. Government shutdown furloughs most CISA staff. Only about 35% of the agency's staff now remain active, and agency spokesperson Marcy McCarthy has stated that, quote, while a government shutdown can disrupt federal operations, CISA will sustain essential functions and provide timely guidance to minimize disruptions, end quote. CISA says more staff can be recalled in the event of an emergency. Microsoft Defender.
All right. Well, I guess we've got this whole business with the government likes to shut down, getting spicy on Capitol Hill. They going at it with each other. Man, y'all need to calm down, start working together. But that's neither here nor there. This is more about how that affects us cybersecurity wise, right? And this is actually, I wish you could see the article better. This article, I tried to blow it up, to make the font at a human readable size. I have it actually increased, and it's still really difficult to see. It's the tiniest text. But you just read, or Steve Prentice just basically read the entire article that you have because that's all they got right there. So ultimately, we love the old CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, which is the U.S. government's kind of cybersecurity arm. But because of the government shutdown over some inability to come to an agreement this week on certain things, they've furloughed most of the staff because when you're a government agency and these things happen, it's not our first government shutdown. I'm going to guess it's not going to be our last. But when these things happen, people go home. You're like, hey, we're shut down. You can't come to work. But it does say that 35% of the staff will remain active. So there is a skeleton crew there. There are people that are still working, trying to keep the standard regular services up and running. But really what we need to take away from here is whether this was CISA, whether this was, it doesn't matter. A hospital, hopefully not a hospital, but anytime, and think of it this way, this was a government shutdown. This is something that's kind of out of band. This is something that we don't know when or where. You can't predict when this is going to happen. You can only kind of see it coming from a very short distance and then go from there. But we do have things like holidays and weekends and known time off times and things of that nature. Guess what? Threat actors are looking to take advantage of those things, and they do it all the time. They know you're not going to be there. 3-day weekends, notorious for threat actors going, cool, so you mean no one's in the office? Awesome. Less likely someone's going to pick up on the fire. Less likely that the alert is going to make it through to the device that they're being alerted to, because they're busy having fun. They're busy having vacation. They're busy being off from work. So when they see stuff like this, they see it as an opportunity to jump and pounce. And as we know, as we listen to Jerry tell us all week, government agencies are quite the target. Not only them, though, but other big businesses as well. That's when threat actors like to pounce. So ultimately, our big takeaway from this is hopefully, even though we have less people, they're being extremely diligent at looking at the defenses, watching alerts, and doing what they can to help with that and to keep that busy. God help them. I know that that's not going to be an easy job until everything fires back up and they come to some agreement and the government goes back to work. But what are you going to do, right? It is what it is. It is a show, and there's probably monkeys throwing some type of poop at each other. I've seen it before. That's about as organized as things are happening right now. But hey, you got to do what you got to do. It's never fun when you got to take a bite of that sandwich, but it is what it is. You got to be diligent. Hopefully that would make them go, okay, after this, we need to be able to set up a system for when this does happen. And maybe they do already have one. Hopefully, fingers crossed that is something that occurs. We have holidays. What are these holidays you speak of, says Tech Grunt? I didn't say you take them. I just said they're there. But there you go. That's basically all we got for this article. Interesting stuff, though. Let's move on to the next thing. A little something about Microsoft.
Bug triggers erroneous BIOS update alerts. Microsoft is working to resolve a bug that causes Defender for Endpoint to incorrectly tag some devices' BIOS firmware as outdated, prompting users to update it. The company posted a service alert that said this known issue, quote, affects Dell services and is caused by a Defender for Endpoint logic bug, end quote. A fix is on the way, but Microsoft has not yet said how many users may be impacted by these ongoing Defender XDR issues and in what regions.
All right, there it is. Okay, so Microsoft, you got yourself a little bug, do you? Triggering erroneous BIOS update alerts. That is an interesting little problema that you got going on there. I wonder how threat actors are going to take advantage of that because, they do not like missing out on anything that could be to their advantage. Microsoft is working to resolve this bug. Defender for Endpoint, incorrectly tagging some devices' BIOS firmware as outdated. Well, I'm glad you're trying to keep a look on things like, hey, where is it getting the information? Well, how would it know it's updated? Is it based off of a timestamp? Is that what's happening in a service alert? Let's see here. This affects Dell devices caused by Defender endpoint logic bug. Obviously, right? If it's like, hey, this is outdated, your logic is flawed. The imperfection is yours. Code bug endpoint logic that fetches vulnerabilities for Dell devices. So it's only Dell devices. That's cool. We keep scoping down. Not that Dell isn't quite popular. They are. They got quite a few things out there in the wild. Your organization is affected by the event, and users are receiving Microsoft Defender for Endpoint alerts in their BIOS. The company has already developed a fix for this bug and is currently prepared for, or is preparing for the deployment. Has yet to disclose the regions and number of customers impacted, all of them, right, by Defender XDR issues. Microsoft engineers have fixed black screen. Okay, so that's going into stuff. Okay, there. So I'm guessing that the way this is going to be, if it does get it, right, we got to put our hat. Let's start threat modeling. If I were a threat actor and this was something I knew was happening on people with Dell devices, I might spin up some malware that looks like a BIOS update from Defender for Endpoint, right? And hey, your BIOS needs to be updated. Click here to update your BIOS. Right? That could be one of the ways that an attacker utilizes this or takes advantage of things like this. Now, the good news is it's already doling out a patch, or they're getting ready for it if they haven't already. I don't know when this article actually came out. Let's take a look at that. It was yesterday at 10:20. So they've had almost 24 hours. Hopefully by today, you Dell users out there are getting that patch and getting it installed. I wouldn't know off the top of my head whether or not you have to manually patch that system or if it updates itself. We'll see about that. I would assume because Defender, it's going to be where it kind of, if we have, I think by default, Defender updates itself like twice a day or something like that. So we'll just grab that. But those are signals. signatures, right? It's updating its signatures. I don't know if it necessarily updates itself. You might have to go in and click that, hey, update Defender. I got those Defender for endpoint systems with my Dell, and it's not going well for me. I don't want this. Because who the heck wants to get prompted about your stinking? And I don't know how that would even disrupt. I miss being in the field a little bit. I got to be honest with you. Makes me want to get back out there, get behind a server and be like, let's do this. Let's see how things go. Let's have a good time. So yeah, it was a fun one. Let's see here. Anything else on this? I think causing its impact. I mean, it's kind of a light day. I mean, government's shut down. What are you going to do, right? It's a light day of news. But as far as this goes, that doesn't seem like there's much we can do about it. It's not much we can do about the government shutdown. It's just something to be aware of. And it is good for us to kind of think about that these things do occur and that we need to have some sort of preparation for it. That's why we do things like tabletop exercises. What if this happens? What's the likelihood and what's the impact? Hold on, Daniel. Did you just put your Jerry glasses on? Did I just like channel the great nerd in the sky that is Jerry and go, hey, here's what's up. There's a thing called risk, and we need to figure that out, how that is going to impact our business. Are we prepared for that? Is that going to be something that we can weather when it comes to that storm? And if so, how well will we weather it? These are questions that we need to be asked. It's crazy to me, honestly. The more I've been kind of like around Jerry and all you defending people out there, the more I'm like, hold on, what is wrong? What's happening? I was talking to somebody that works in the school system, and we were just discussing their IT, and they're not an IT worker. They're just somebody that works in the school, nearby school system. And they were talking about how, Teams, and they like Teams. I was like, I don't understand the words that are coming out of your mouth. They're like, oh, Teams is great. I'm like, again, your lips are moving, but I don't hear, recognizable speech. And then finally, I said something about the Authenticator app. And I was like, yeah, what's fun is the whole way that if you got multi-factor, you got to use the Microsoft Authenticator. At least it still might be true. That is the Authenticator app that you must use with Teams. And if you only have it on one device and you lose that device, guess what happens to your ability to get back into Microsoft? That goes bye-bye. And that's a problem. Excuse me. So anyway, I'm kind of rambling on here, but I'm having a good time doing it because it's a lot of fun to talk about these things because that's a security concern. But they were like, I don't have that. I'm like, what? I just log in with username and password. I'm like, hey, I'm sorry. I'm a little hard of hearing in this side. Let me use my good ear. Did you say that you don't use any MFA to log into your Microsoft stuff for your school? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, oh man, that's wrong. They're like, why is that bad? I'm like, are you kidding me? You don't even know why that's not a good thing? Like somebody's falling down on the job when it comes to doing the old security awareness training. All right, let's move on to the next article. What do we got here? What's going on here? Let's hit it. Hit it, CISO man.
Raid on Red Hat repos jeopardizes sensitive customer files. According to the Register, a group calling itself the Crimson Collective claims to have broken into Red Hat's private GitHub repositories, exfiltrating some 570 gigabytes of compressed data. This includes sensitive documents belonging to customers. The group announced on Telegram that it, quote, accessed more than 28,000 internal repos and stole hundreds of customer engagement reports. Known as CERs, these reports usually contain architecture diagrams, configuration details, authentication tokens, and network maps, and are, quote, effectively a blueprint of a customer's IT environment, end quote. The group has already published file listings and has shared samples online.
Oh, Steve Prentice. He loves to take a good pregnant pause there from time to time. Makes me think he's done talking. I'm gonna stop the read again. But this seems bad, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but this seems bad. 28,000 Red Hat repos. That they have sensitive customer files. Ruh-roh, Raggy. Zoink, Scoob, this is like no good, right? 570 gigabytes of data claimed to have been stolen by the Crimson Collective. Nice name, by the way. It's no flaming donkey, but yeah, not too bad. Guess are they naming themselves? It reminds me of that scene from. If you've never seen the Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, I grew up on that movie. Love that movie. he asks Morgan Freeman, what's your name? He says Azim. He goes, it means great one. He goes, did you give yourself this name? I feel like, yeah. Did you give yourself this name? Because Crimson Collective is a cool name. That's not too bad. Techrun's like, dumpster fire. This is fine. Everything's great here. Probably not, though. All right, so what'd they get there? 570 gigabytes of compressed data, including sensitive documents belonging to customers. Oh, man. Posted on Telegram. There he is. Just get off Telegram. That's what's going on. Everybody let's go outside. Touch grass. What could possibly be going on here? So when they're able to get into things like, I don't know, GitHub repos to the tune of how many? 28,000 of them. Raid on 20. I'm hard time believing. I remember reading this right. 28,000 Red Hat repos. So this is going to be all about that. Because if they've got access to these GitHub repos, do they not have write access to it? Are they just able to read them and then exfiltrate the data out of them? Because if they can write to it, then we have a supply chain issue, right? The people that are running Red Hat and anything that runs off of Red Hat stuff from any of these repos is susceptible at this point to having a real problem when it comes to trusting what comes out of those said repos. Because if an attacker can write nefarious things to it and you're pulling it down, do I need to continue the equation here? I feel like it's fairly self-explanatory. The attackers have published a file listing a short sample of the supposed loot. Materials seen by us include configuration snippets, database connection strings. And so are they saying that they have access to the database? See, this seems like just like not good. I'm trying to come up with a good analogy, but basically this is what it boils down. Es no bueno, right? Es no, for our Spanish speaking audience out there, let me reach out to you. Es no bueno. This is not a good day. Let's see here. References to a customer system that matches the kind of content typically found in CERs. The crew claims that the reports span 20 to 2025. So 5 years worth of data involve major organizations in banking, telecoms, and government. Alert found authentication tokens, right? This is just, oh my goodness. Okay. So at this point, did they do anything about this? Have they kicked access? Have they rotated tokens? What have they done? Gained access to some of their clients' infrastructure as well. Oh my word! This is the dumpster fire. This is a dumpster fire that inside is being fueled by other dumpster fires. Right? Already warned them, but they were like, yeah, they preferred ignoring us. Awesome. Why do you do it? Why can't we just understand that that's not how this works? Okay? You don't ignore hitting the sat button on Simply Cyber. Didn't realize the show had options. Oh, nice to know. Let's see here. Thomas writing, Red Hat has not responded to questions about whether it has suffered a breach, how attackers may have gained access, or whether it has received any demands from the hackers who claim they have contacted Red Hat with an extortion demand to give only a generic submit a vulnerability report style response. It is not known if Red Hat has notified customers of potential data exposure. I assume that if this is true, if this is all a true story, then anybody that is using Red Hat will be receiving an email that is extremely dry about, hey, we have suffered a breach. No customer data has been exposed. And then a week later, it'll say, well, customer data has been exposed, but it was all encrypted. And then a week or two later, you'll get another email that says, so yeah, it was not everything was encrypted, like, usernames and passwords and authentication tokens and, PII, but everything else totally encrypted. Oh my goodness. That's me reading from my We Got Breached playbook. That's typically how that story goes. So that's a lot of fun. All right. So dumpster fire there. God help them and God help you if you're working with some of that Red Hat business. So move on to the next story. Let's see here. Steve, give it to us, sir.
Motility RV software company suffers cyber attack. The company, which makes software for dealers who sell RVs, buses, boats, and other large vehicles, warned customers Wednesday of a data security incident that was discovered on August 19th. The company describes this as a ransomware attack in which their servers were encrypted. The company's business operations were impacted and personal information of more than 760,000 people was stolen. A claim of responsibility has been made by the Pair ransomware gang, that is PEAR, which also attacked Motility's parent company, Reynolds & Reynolds, a few weeks ago.
Okay. Fun stuff again. Boy, it's just nightmare fuel. I like how it just went from like, hey, the government shut down to, hey, Red Hat got destroyed. And now it's millions impacted by data breaches. Like, it's just another day, another breach, right, kids? Another day, another breach. Okay, let's check this out. Millions impacted by data breach by insurance giants, auto detailers, dealership software firm. You know, it's funny. I've actually kind of poked and prodded a little bit at some of the like used car dealers. They tend to use very similar, if not the same, type of website template for like used cars dealers in your areas. I thought, oh, that'll be some low hanging fruit. If maybe they got a responsible disclosure, that kind of thing going on, maybe a bug bounty. And so you just start poking at apps just to see how they work and how they're connected. So I've seen this stuff before, so I wouldn't be surprised that they are outsourcing this type of software to a firm. 2 companies have disclosed new details about this. Millions of people, sensitive information exposed, lions and tigers and bears living together, complete chaos. No, total anarchy, right? Dogs and cats living together. Allianz Life Insurance. Allianz, I think it's Allianz. Life Insurance updated regulatory filings to confirm 1.49 million customers exposed on July 16th. Hold on, that was a while back. Are we just now hearing about this? That can't be right, right? The information includes names, addresses, dates of birth, and social security numbers. So basically everything that an attacker would need to do things like, I don't know, identity theft, good phishing campaigns. Yeah. The company filed breach notice in July. Okay, well, that's good. But did not say how many people were affected. It was a few, 1 or 2 million. Right? You didn't let me finish. I was going to say million, but you were jumping the gun. In a statement at the time, a malicious threat actor gained access. So does it say how? Did not identify the third party. Okay, thanks. FBI was notified in July. The attack on Alliance Life took place amid a wider campaign of attacks discovered. Okay, Scattered Spider. Boy, they got to work this year, didn't they? They go crazy. They were like, you know what? We want to have a good Christmas. So they went to work targeting insurance industry with large firms like Aflac, Erie Insurance, Philadelphia insurance companies, and all reporting cyber attacks. What the heck does that tell you? What does that tell you about what's going on? That large firms like Aflac is no small potatoes, right? They're not a small company. Like how much? Okay, let's go here. Aflac yearly revenue 2024. Let's just see what they did last year. See if we can get that. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Does it say here? Oh, there it is right there. I know you probably can't see it. 18.7 billion. Oh, I'm sorry. It was up $18.93 billion, right? They got $18.93 billion at their disposal, and they can't stay secure. Like you would think that that money would solve this problem, but obviously it doesn't. And correct me if I'm wrong. We complain all the time about, gap in cybersecurity. skilled cybersecurity workers. Flipping hire some people. You got $18.93 billion. Get to work. Start putting out, quit ghost jobbing people and actually put some cybersecurity jobs out there. Start hiring people. Who cares if they don't have the years of experience? I need you to have 65 years of experience in CrowdStrike. It's like CrowdStrike hasn't been around that long. It doesn't matter. Just open up the job market, get to work so we can start actually securing these things. And the vendors out there, they got to be doing a better job. We got to be getting better training. Like training is super important. And maybe it's not even a lack of training. Or, I'm sorry, it's not the quality of training necessarily. Maybe it's a lack of training, which happens because they don't want to pay for you to go to some training. It's like, yeah, you can do that on your own. It's like, bro, these things are expensive. You have the money. You should be investing into your security. Bruh. Okay. We're at the mid-roll time. My goodness, I'm going to lose my mind. I think Jerry normally plays this. Let me see what we got going on here.
Huge thanks to our sponsor, Nudge Security. Here's the thing. Your employees are signing up for new apps, sharing data and connecting tools together, often without anyone knowing. And AI adoption is accelerating this trend. What if you could continuously discover when people start using new apps or sharing data, and then prompt them with security guidance right when and where they are working? At Nudge Security, they call that securing the workforce edge. Instead of trying to control everything, which, let's face it, is impossible, they give IT and security teams the visibility they need and automation to guide employees towards secure behaviors. The result? Your workforce stays productive, your data stays secure, and you can finally get some sleep at night. Learn more at nudgesecurity.com/workforceedge. That is nudgesecurity as one word.com/workforceedge. Also as one word.
All right. Let's guess what? It is mid-roll time. And as we know, there's been an issue when it comes to we can't play the heys anymore. So in your mind with the best sounds of Simple Minds. Dun dun. Hey. And it is time to give you that special thing we do every Friday, which is the one Mr. James McQuiggan's Dad Jokes. James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet. We've got his Dad Joke Friday. Always good stuff. Got to jump in here. Jerry sent me these via Discord so that we can enjoy the funny stuff that Mr. McQuiggan typically does. I got to hang out with James last Saturday at B-Sides Orlando. Had such a phenomenal time. He is such a fun dude. If you ever get the opportunity and you see James McQuiggan at a con, you go up to James, you're like, what are we doing today? So where are we going? Because you totally need to hang out with him. He's probably super busy. He's probably giving a talk. He's probably doing that. But when you see him free, you hang out with James McQuiggan because he is a good time. Let me just tell you what. All right. So his 35,000-foot dad jokes today are, did you hear the joke about October? Never mind. You'll never fall for it. Ba-doom. No, it's a rib ticklers. They get me every time. Let's see here. What do you call two monkeys that share an Amazon account? What do you call two monkeys that share an Amazon account? Prime mates. Oh, that's actually not bad. It's actually not bad. I like that one. And then our last one is, what did Tennessee? What did Tennessee? The same thing as Arkansas. Oh, man. James, you crazy. As he would tell you in his, if you're sitting at a talk, he'll tell you, you're going to have the urge to go, ba-doom, right, do a little rim shot, give us one of those little actions there. And absolutely very funny stuff. Thank you, James McQuiggan, you crazy kook you. We do enjoy the James McQuiggan dad jokes from 35,000 feet from seat. What is it? 3B? Is that the big seat? That's the good seat to sit in. He's always up in the air doing stuff, having a great time. So are we, though. We're having a great time. We need to keep on moving. Let's get back into these articles. Thank you so much, James, for your lovely, lovely jag jokes, giving us a lighthearted chuckle for our Friday now going on. Okay, let's see here. Let me get that action here.
Executive extortion attempt uses data allegedly stolen through Oracle tool. Incident responders at Mandiant and Google Threat Intelligence Group have released a warning about hackers possibly connected to the Clop ransomware gang who are attempting to extort corporate executives by threatening to leak sensitive information that they claim was stolen through the Oracle e-business suite. This is a platform that contains several applications to manage a company's finance, human resources, and supply chain functions. The threat actors have already sent extortion emails to executives at, quote, numerous organizations, end quote, but Mandiant would not say how many companies may have been impacted or what information might have been stolen.
Poor. I always try to cut him off. I thought I had the right timing, but got me again. But there we go. Cyber criminals are trying to extort executives. Wow, this is a good old extortion. Gotta love that. You know, criminals, they get up in the morning, they pour their coffee, and, you know, they put their creamer in, their sugar packets, and they stir it up, and they sit down, and they open up their phone, and they look through the news articles, and they check things, and then they get to work going, who am I going to extort today? It's an unfortunate thing. Oh, look, it's a prominent Russian ransomware gang. Who are they? Did they say? So Mandiant and Google's Threat Intelligence Group released a warning today on Wednesday telling the recorded future news in an email that they are tracking a campaign. Oh, it's Clop. I didn't hear. Clop back. You know, it's funny. I had Michael Rogers from B-Sides Tampa. He's the chairperson of B-Sides Tampa on it. He was telling me Clop's back. I said, have they ever really gone anywhere? They just like to take some time off from time to time. They're like, you know, we got to get back at this ransom thing, extorting people. You know, people forgot about us. You know, they're playing Forgot About Dre in the background going, forgot about Clop, you know, Tech Grunt. You know what to do. AI that song. We expect it. Their latest campaign, according to, let's see here, involves the data of hackers said was stolen through Oracle e-business suite, a widely used business platform containing several applications and managing a company's finance, human resources, supply chain functions. Wow, that's not awesome. It's like, geez, it's a dumpster fire today. What the heck? This is what I honestly, like, reading the news is a bit depressing for me because I'm just going, why does this happen like every day? That doesn't seem to make sense. Russian Robin Hood on C-Suite. Yeah, that's how it goes. That's funny. Eva's bite. So Genevieve Stark, a senior cybercrime investigator, said the team believes that the campaign started on September the 29th, so not that long ago, but is still in the early stages of multiple investigations. Well, thank goodness we're already kind of like on this. Threat actors have sent extortion emails to executives. I wonder what kind of extortion. Like, did they ransomware something? Did they actually? Yeah, right. They did say that they had some access to information. They claim, there it is, threatening to leak sensitive info, which was warning campaign Tuesday telling a record feature, but it doesn't say what it was. Did it in the article or title? I mean, just allegedly. Why? Like, if you don't have anything to report yet, don't report it. Numerous organizations, threat actors have sent extortion emails to numerous organizations, but Mandiant would not share how many companies have been impacted or what kind of information might have been stolen. Of course they would. It must be a credible threat, though, because if it wasn't anything, they would say, no, that didn't happen. Right? The fact that they're going, well, we're not going to disclose anything on an ongoing investigation, like they're the FBI or something, which the FBI actually may be involved or getting involved. Actively tracking recent activity involving an actor claimed affiliation with Clop. Yep, good old Clop. We're currently observing a high-volume email campaign being launched from hundreds of compromised accounts. And our initial analysis confirms that at least one of these accounts has been previously associated with activity from Fin11. Okay, a long-running financially motivated threat group for deploying ransomware and engaging in extortion. Sweet. Let's see here. Cybersecurity expert Austin Larson added that the contact address provided the extortion notes. So just another day that ends in Y, and we get lovely ransomware. They are known for theft. Yeah, they are. It's what they do. It's how we know them. Jeez. Man, most recent Clop campaign was against Move It, had global implications. Yeah, wasn't there a Move It thing, or was it copy fix or something? One of these other file transfer things. My word. Cybersecurity firm estimated that 2,700-ish organizations were impacted by the attacks on Move It. Okay, so we're talking about Move It now. Well, when you got more data, let us know what's going on. Make sure that you're doing all the things, kids. Just because you checked, we did a pen test box or we ran a vulnerability assessment box on your compliance form doesn't necessarily mean you are secure. This is an ongoing thing. You should be continuously engaged into cybersecurity practices of tabletop exercises, going over threat modeling, doing business impact analysis, risk analysis. All these things need to be continually being done. Multiple audits a year, not just one. I know it costs money, but you have, like the people that run these things have like private Lear jets. You could probably throw a few million bones at your cyber program before these things happen. And then, I don't know, every now and then, why don't you just drop by and go, hey, how's the cyber thing doing? And, I need a no BS assessment on that. I want to know exactly how it's going. If it's not going great, if you need anything, let me see. This is what happens. This is where I get upset, is that it works. The people that are actually implementing these things are probably going, man, it'd be nice to have this. It'd be nice if we had a couple more people. It'd be nice if we had this technology. It'd be nice if we could get that. It'd be nice if we would be able to do this, right? They have this list of it'd be nice to. And their manager probably knows about that. But their manager goes and sits in a meeting, and that meeting consists of how we doing budgetarily. How's that bottom line looking? Well, we could really use these things. Okay, we hear you. But have we had any breaches so far? Have we had any problem? No, not so far. Okay, so it's business as usual. We'll see what we can get. So when I used to be a part of budget meetings, what you would have to do is kind of shoot for the moon. You had to do the big asks. And honestly, I'm going to sneeze. It's going to be fun. Oh, man. It came on me. It's going to happen. And is it going away? I think it went away. Okay. There it is. Oh, yeah. Good one. Anyway, we would actually put stuff in the budget that we had no intentions of ever getting approved. And they would be big ticket items, crazy stuff, right? And so that would immediately get slashed at the budget meeting. Okay, we get IT's budget, and it's like 3 75-inch flat screens. Well, yeah, we want to put SolarWinds tracking up in the main area and have that. And they're like, nope. We're like, oh, well, you don't ask, you don't get it. They're like ///. You would start asking for these items and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden we got them the stuff we actually really wanted, and we were more likely to get them. It was just a little trick we employed to try to, grease the wheels, because they've been doing is telling us no the whole time. And now they get the stuff that we actually need. And it's like, man, we could, Lambo. Phil Stafford says Lambos for the IT department. Exactly. Ask for Lambos. Like, listen, we got to get to these satellite offices, and we got to get there quick, right? That jalopy you got us driving in right now, it's just held together with duct tape and tie wire, is not cutting the mustard. Lambos, everybody, that's how it rolls. So that's a little trick you can try to employ and get them saying yes to you on that. Okay, let's move on.
No more SVG images for Outlook. Microsoft has announced that Outlook for Web and the new Outlook for Windows will no longer display inline SVG images. SVG, or Scalable Vector Graphics, files have been used to deploy malware and increasingly to display forms used in phishing attacks. The change away from SVGs started in September and is expected to be completed for all customers by mid-October.
Okay. Goodbye, SVGs. It was nice knowing you. Microsoft Outlook is like, not in my house. What's up? So stops displaying inline SVGs images used in attacks. Well, that's actually a little, we're doing something here. Look at this. So they realized that SVG image files were being used, or images, not files, but images are being used in attacks, right? Change began rolling out September 2025. So this is a fairly new thing and should be completed by the end of this month, 2025. It says that this change will affect less than 0.1% of all images sent to Outlook. Cool. That's interesting. I wonder how many, what prompted the change, right? Because there's got to be there's got to be a return on the investment to actually go in and make these coding changes to say Outlook no longer supports this. And I don't know how much that would be, whether that's a light lift or a heavy lift for Microsoft to actually make happen. But at the end of the day, there was work performed so that Outlook would no longer support this for these SVG images. So, yeah, Elliot Mattis says, Microsoft taking away all our fun. Gee, thanks, Dad. I love that. Great comment there. You caught me. You got me good. But like it says, less than 0.1% of all images sent using Outlook actually will be affected. So what percentage of that 0.1% was being used in attacks? Inline SVG images will no longer be displayed. And again, if it's not a big deal, I think that small increases in security add up to big increases in security, right? The little things add. So I always tell people pennies and dimes add up to dollars, right? Nickels and dimes add up to dollars. That's what I always say. Pennies in a penny jar, eventually it overflows and you got a lot of money, right? So it's the same idea. Every little thing we do, every little push we have in the right direction is going to be helpful, as long as it's, the ultimately at the end of the day, this is where users will start going, I like my SVGs. Yeah, but you're 0.1% of the population, bro. It's not worth the security issue that comes along with it, because it says right here, SVG images sent as classic attachments will continue to be supported and viewable from the attachment as well. This update mitigates the potential security risks such as cross-site scripting attacks. So let's reduce the cross-site scripting attacks. And thank you very much. Appreciate that. Right? Let's see here. What else we need to know about this? Seems pretty straightforward that this is going bye-bye. Files over the past few years to deploy malware and display phishing forms with these scalable vector graphics have extensively been used. So it looks like that's kind of their stock and trade at this point. So what's the purpose of keeping them around? Just so that you can have a fun little graphic. And Kyle says the SVGs are the worst. Right? So there we go. I know that, my friend Betty's going to be upset because she can't have her fun little graphics. But what are you going to do? This is the name of the game. We have to get rid of some of the niceties in life so that we can have a little bit more security when it comes to our systems. Okay? Find a different way. Use some other form. Do something else. It's not going to kill you. All right, let's get the next article. Let's get the next one. Where are we going to? We're doing this one, and then we're doing this one.
China tracking platform blames outage on AWS social engineering attack. Kodex Global, that is Kodex, a platform used by law enforcement and major tech firms to manage subpoenas and data requests, suffered a temporary outage on October the 1st after attackers tricked AWS into freezing its domain. The disruption took down Kodex's website, portal, API, and some email services for nearly 4 hours. Although attackers attempted to transfer the domain, ownership was never lost. AWS mistakenly froze it due to a fraudulent legal order. Kodex confirmed no breach or data compromise occurred. AWS has since resolved the issue and pledged safeguards. Experts note, however, that a successful attack could have exposed sensitive data and account access.
Okay. AWS having a fun day at the beach today, are we? Subpoena tracking platform blames outage on AWS social engineering attack. AWS fires back. Nuh-uh. No, it wasn't. It was an accident. That's all that was. You talking, throwing shit at me on TV. I swear you keep running your mouth. Run your mouth again. We AWS player. We'll cut you off. Anyway, Kodex says this domain registrar fell for a fraudulent legal order. All right, let's get into this. So, used by law enforcement agencies and major tech companies to manage subpoenas. That's cool. That's interesting software. Data requests went dark this week after attackers social engineer AWS into freezing its domain. Codex Global says the portal, their API, and their website, and some email services were rendered unavailable. Let's see, how long was that? That was from 9-ish to almost 1 o'clock. So that was about 4 hours. And because they are the domain registrar for Codex Global. Okay. So it says Codex didn't explicitly name AWS in its public update on the outage. Cyber sleuths identified that the attackers attempted to transfer the domain to a different registrar, which is something that they like to do, because if they can take over the domain, especially for something as big as this, then it opens up for all sorts of crazy attacks, because anything that resolves to that domain at that point, they have control over. They can now redirect traffic and to things that are again, no bueno, right? See here, threat actors claimed responsibility for the disruption. So they're out there going, yeah, player, it was us. We did the thing. We're cool. We're awesome. You suck. It was the registrar who improperly froze our domain as a result of fraudulent legal order, the company claimed. No credentials were compromised, I'm sure. No customer data was accessed, I'm sure. I have no doubt. This is the gospel of Paul right here. I have no doubt. Codex itself was never breached. We'll see. No, I'm a cynic at this point, by the way, in case you didn't know. Let's see here. No point did the threat actors have access to or compromise the confidentiality of customer data or internal services. The spokesperson at AWS told the register, we resolved the matter as soon as we were made aware of the error and take steps to ensure that it doesn't happen again. If the attackers had been more successful, the potential consequences could have been helped them intercept Codex emails, potentially accessing sensitive information. So there you go. And one of the big reasons why owning a domain system, like having access to that domain and taking control, is not good. Potential access sensitive information or taking control of accounts with access to MFA authentication resets, among other things. I thought they said AWS said it wasn't us, that it was an accident. I didn't see that. It's hard to read all this text, got to be honest with you. According to Kodex, its software was used by more than 15,000 government agencies worldwide. Well, good for them. Lots of big companies use that. Ironically, the social engineer attack that came a mere hours after Codex issued a warning about law enforcement agencies and local. Okay, so it does look like this article is saying that it was a social engineering attack that caused the outage. I could have sworn I heard Steve Prentice say that AWS said, no, it didn't, that it was just an accident. Right? Where did I see that? Where did I hear that? Well, either way, it's resolved. And according to the article, it never got down the road far enough to be really, really bad. But that makes us start to go, okay, put on our cybersecurity hats. What do we do to protect against this? Is there alerts? Are there alerts? Are there monitoring services? How can we, 4 hours seems like a long time to have your domains down. There was no access to the system. So at this point, it was at least a denial of service attack, maybe an unintentional one, because the group that was running the social engineering attack were not successful at gaining access and taking control over the domain. But during the time that they had done their social engineering, 4 hours goes by and no one has access to this system, right? So there it is, social engineered AWS into freezing its domain. So, okay. So so AWS froze the domain. It wasn't even like they didn't even know. They were like, no, this is frozen, dog. We were putting the kibosh on this. But they didn't say why they froze the domain, other than it was the social engineering attack itself. It says its website, portal, API, and some stuff. Right. Okay, Kodex didn't explicitly name it in its public update on the outage. Cyber sleuths identified the attacker's attempt to transfer the domain to a different register. Okay. While threat actors claimed responsibility for disruption, ownership was never transferred, which was good. It was the registrar who improperly. Okay. So it wasn't AWS itself. It was the registrar that did it. And that was due to, that's what Amazon says. So Amazon didn't say, oh, well, we didn't freeze it. We didn't do anything. It was the registrar itself that froze the domain as a result of the fraudulent order to change domain ownership. Gotcha. And okay, so that makes more sense. So this seems like it was an immediate, like, hey, we were at this at the time that it was happening. It just took time to resolve the issue, which was 4 hours. Right. Who was it? Was just said this was Fleetus was saying a ton of finger pointing in this situation. Exactly. It's the Spider-Man meme of it was you, no, it was you, no, you, no, yeah, whatever. Okay, cool. Moving on. Last article. Let's hit it, Steve.
Researchers uncover spyware targeting messaging app users in the UAE. Researchers from ESET have discovered this new spyware embedded in fake messaging apps that are targeting people in the United Arab Emirates. The two apps are named ProSpy and ToSpy, that is TOSPY, which masquerade as Signal and ToTalk, which is a free messaging and calling app that originated in the United Arab Emirates. The spyware is made available through fake websites and app stores, which themselves are made to look like legitimate app stores.
All right. We are at the final one. We got a few minutes left to get through this, and then we will move into jawjacking after that, which is just fun. It's just Q&A. You, me, and anybody that wants to join me from the panel, just let me know, ping me. I'll have to check Discord to see if anyone, so hit me up in Discord, or if you got my number, I can send you the invite, or if you already have one, you know what to do. Join us in the backstage for that. Let's see here. Researchers uncover spyware targeting messaging app in users UAE. Excuse me. UAE, well known for having a reputation. Let me put it that way. They have a reputation for liking, they enjoy spying on certain individuals, typically of the journalistic persuasion, to see what's going on there. And typically they use things like Pegasus, which Pegasus is this software that was developed for, because I read into the history of Pegasus, by the way, it was kind of interesting. Pegasus was developed to be a help desk tool for telco companies. They developed it so that it was easy. Hey, I'll send you a link. I know you're having trouble with your phone, so sorry that's occurring. Someone calls support. They get that. The person on the support in the line sends them a link. They click the link. That gives that support person access to their phone. They can go in. They can clean up. They can see what's going on, do everything they need to do, and then go, thank you for your time, and then kill the access. But then that software gets sold to this company called the NSO Group. The NSO Group uses it and says, anybody want to purchase access to this tool? And then it gets used for like other purposes. So interesting. Let's see here. While that's going on, let me grab this here and copy that. Just inviting Fleetus. Fleetus is going to join us today for jawjacking. So there we go. Pop that in. All right, so let's see what's going on here. Firm ESET. ESET's been around for a while. Its experts found two androids. One's called ProSpy. The other is ToSpy, as in T-O, not T-W-O, which pose as Signal and ToTalk, a free messaging app. So that's fun. Signal app, very popular for a lot of people. A end-to-end encrypted messaging application. I've never used ToTalk. I can only assume that that's more regional, whereas Signal is a bit more global in its scope and reach. But maybe I'm just missing the boat on Toe Talk. So the spyware is installed through fake websites and app stores. So this is where we get into this, man. It also reloads the authentic apps in order to make itself look legit, right? Nice. Not nice, but that's smart. The detections in the UAE and the use of phishing and fake app stores to carry out the attacks regionally focused operations with strategic delivery mechanisms. So it looks like they're specifically targeting that specific area and those specific people in that area. Command and control servers discovered by the researchers suggest the Toe Spy campaign is ongoing. So this is not squashed yet. This is still happening. You got to be aware. Let's see here. One of the websites putting To Spy malware posed as the Samsung Galaxy store. How do you get to the wrong store? It's play.google.com. It's Samsung. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's up. You use the proper apps. So this is the security we take away, and then we're gonna have to go into jawjacking. So here's the big takeaway: is that when you have a phone, which most of us do, if you start sideloading apps and you start getting cute when it comes to the things that you put on here, I don't know. Maybe I'm the weirdo here, but I don't put anything on my phone that I don't absolutely need. Nothing. If I install Signal, guess where I go? The Google Play Store, because that is where the apps come from. That's where I get them. That is a trusted source for me to my phone. And I can get just about everything that I need. If I need some weird, cool, janky thing out there and I want to see how it runs, that I need to grab APKs and start rooting devices and, whatever to get them installed, that's just not worth it then, right? It's just not worth it. Why do I need that? What can I make phone calls? Can I get email? Can I get my text messages? Can I use something like Signal for encrypted messages? Can I browse the web with authorized browsers such as Brave? Like, I'm just going to look through the apps on my phone right now. Like, what am I running? Like, nothing. I've got my email, authenticator apps, LinkedIn, Signal. That's what's up. I got a messaging app that came with the phone. That's what's up. It makes phone calls. I have the Play Store and the default, Google crapify my phone stuff that I have yet to uninstall, but I don't use it. So who cares? So yeah, that's what's up, dude. Don't install stuff from shady areas of the internet. I don't even know what you're thinking. Look at that. See, fake websites distributing ProSpy use malicious Android application packages or APKs, posing as improvements. Wrong-o. That's not how it works. Guess what? Apps update themselves. You don't have to get a prompt and download this. And that's no. No. Okay, so we've got work to do, people. We got some work to do when it comes to awareness. I'm going to kill my screen here. Stop sharing. My goodness, that was crazy. Okay, so we are at the top of the hour. This has been news today was frustrating for me. I'm just like, I look at these things and I just want to take a rolled up newspaper and go, you see what you did? You see, you don't do that here. You smell that? What are you going to do? Spread the word, kids. All right, well, I'm going to start the old jawjacking session here momentarily. Let me go ahead and get that fired up. Thank you for watching the Daily Cyber Threat Brief. We'll move into that jawjacking. Hopefully, stick around. Get your questions ready. If you got questions, you know what to do. Start dropping them in the chats.
Ever wonder what it takes to break into cybersecurity? Join us every weekday for Jawjacking, where industry experts answer your burning questions about the cybersecurity field. Live, unfiltered, and totally free. Let's level up together. It's time for some Jawjacking.
Well, hey there, everyone. Welcome back to Jawjacking. It is that time for us to get into it. and hang out with you good folks, which I do thoroughly enjoy. Just need to close. Like, how do I do this? No restream. You are a mystery to me. There it is. Let me grab all this, start checking this out. Right now it's me, Fleetus. I did send you a link. So if you want to jump on in, my brother, you're more than happy to get in there, right? I sent you that link. I think I did. Oh, he said it'll be a few minutes late. All right, cool. No problemo. Oh, we look forward to having Fleetus in the house. He is a phenomenal resource, a wealth of knowledge. Well, let's get into these lovely questions that I'm sure that you all have. Start looking there. I see my name a couple of times. Let's start from the end. This is why Jerry gets so spicy, says Elliot Matisse. It's true. It's true. Dumpster Fire Friday. That is crazy. All right, where do the questions start? Where do the questions start? Looking for the questionos. Now, if you got them, just put a Q in front of it or at my name. That way I can kind of keep an eye on where they're going and what they're doing. But it doesn't even have to be a question. Maybe you just got something you want to talk about, you want to bring to the forefront. Yeah, this is a good point. I'm going to bring this up here. Fredon says, it doesn't mean to be rude, and I don't think you are, but people are going to fall for these things regardless of what you tell them. It's true. It is true. But the more we get the word out, when I was talking to the person that worked in the school system, they looked at me like I had three heads when I said multi-factor authentication. They were like, authenticator what? Well, I don't even know what that is. They had no idea what that is. So, that's the problem, that there's not enough awareness, apparently. We're not doing a good enough job of getting out there. You're absolutely right. I totally agree with you. We're never going to get 100%. Heck, we might not even get 75%. Heck, we might not even get 50%. But whatever percent we're getting now is inadequate, and we need to raise the bar, right? That's all I'm saying. But I totally agree with you, right? We're never going to get full coverage. It's unfortunate. Let's see here. Looking for those questions. Let's see here. Okay, looks like we got one. Okay, here we go. Cool. This question comes from Shane F. Hi, great to meet you, to meet up at B-Sides Orlando. Great question. Good to see you again, Shane. Glad to have you. What's the difference between Sliver C2 and Gunner C2? Now, this is in reference to a LinkedIn post that I made yesterday. I have been in contact with the author of Gunner C2, and because he saw me doing a bunch of YouTube stuff about C2s. He's like, you know what? I'm building my own C2. I'd love for you to give me your thoughts and opinions on it. And he finally got to the place where he was ready to make it available to the public at large. Put it in GitHub and said, public, get wild. So yesterday I downloaded it. I checked it out. Really nice. Couple of bugs. I got some stuff to work through. And so definitely go play with this Gunner C2. A really cool stuff there. But it is different than something like Sliver. Sliver is text-based. It is a CLI only. Gunner was cool because you can do it CLI, or you can also spin up a GUI, which was pretty cool. I still have to sit more seat time with Gunner to really tell you all the bells and whistles and how Gunner works and how smooth it is. So far, pretty good. Couple of issues, and the author is working their way through those. Already sent me some fixes to try out. So constantly updating that. So if you do go play with Gunner C2, make sure if you do run into an issue to do a request, like an issue, start an issue on that GitHub repo to let him know, or reach out to him in LinkedIn. But the difference is really overarchingly nothing. Sliver C2 and Gunner C2 do the same things. They are command and control frameworks. So for those of you that don't understand what C2 is, command and control framework is, or command and controls tool is the tool that a lot of both threat actors and red team use to maintain and persist access into systems that they have compromised. So once they make a foothold, they go, you know what, I need to be able to easily work with this device, and maybe the security flaw that I discovered that allowed me to gain access into it gets patched. So I want to maintain that access. I want persistence. and I want it to survive things like reboots. I want it to fly under the radar. C2 frameworks do a great job of that. Now, one of the more common ones is going to be something like Cobalt Strike, Brute Ratel, things of that nature. Those are high-level, well-known, paid-for platforms. CrowdStrike has one. Oh, man, I'm blanking out on the name for that one. It's a big one. It's nasty. It's awesome, though. What the heck is the name of that thing? Anyway, it doesn't really matter. But then there's other ones that are open source and free, like Adaptix. Metasploit framework technically is a type of C2 framework as well. Tons of them are out there. Go check out the C2 matrix. Check out C2 matrix, and that will let me just drop that in the chat. C2 matrix, and then you can kind of check a lot of them out and see what you like. And let me copy, pasta that. Booyah. Paste, booyah, and there you go. So that's really what it's for. It's just for an operator's command and control over a system that they have already breached. That's the quick and dirty. Question for me from Amish Runaway. Am I doing my stream at 10 a.m. today? You know it. Now we're going to stop jawjacking at 10:30. I'm 10:30, 9:30. So that I can run over to do my show. So we only got 30 minutes today. But yes, there will be a Cybercast IRL today. Next week, no Cybercast. I'm out of town. I will not be available. So let's see here. Moving on. Come on. Oh, look at that. We have been joined by the one and only Fleetus. How goes it, sir?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. We got you live at 5, my brother.
Okay. I need to fix my audio. Give me 1 second. My audio.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Rock and roll. I
will come back in a second.
Yeah, of course, I need to I'm hearing you through my monitor, which is fun. So that means I need to go here and change my sound settings. I feel like the real Jerry now. I gotta change my sound settings.
Okay. I can hear now. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay.
Sounds good. Yeah,
Perfect.
Sweet. Hopefully everything's working. Golly, this is quite the show, man. I am juggling. It's fun.
Yeah,
Josh,
you get to see what it's like to be producer, lead man, guest inviting, audio mixer.
I think it just changed your. I think your input just changed because your sound sounds different now.
Hate this.
Yes, it is fun, isn't it?
Always. Let's see here. Better, worse, different.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. We do have a question from Alice Grimm specifically for you, my good man. Says during the AWS story, Fleetus made a point at everyone pointing the finger. What is your best approach to situations where everyone is pointing fingers and things need to be fixed or worked out? What do we do in this situation where you got people just going, not my fault, this is on you?
You stick with facts. You don't bring opinions to the table. You literally share what you know, what you don't know. And if you don't know, you share how you're going to go get it. So like the story pointed out, we were able to determine it was the DNS or it was the domain admin, and then it was the vendor, and then it was the client. And you just put together a document, and that's the only thing you share is what you can actually get artifacts to prove it. And then if that doesn't work, you just continue to work with your team to say, this is what we know, this is what we don't know, and we're going to operate on only what we do know. So going back to just the facts at the end of the day.
Doing your best Dragnet impression. Just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts. Yeah, because that keeps you out of the weeds. Opinions is where people get like, I don't like you anymore. And now we're not working together. We need to come together. It doesn't matter whose fault it was at the end of the day. First, we need to work through the problem, get it fixed. And then, I mean, I guess they are past that point at this time. And now they're just pointing fingers. No one wants to take the blame. What are you going to do? No one really. I'm sure there are people that do care. I don't. It doesn't really matter.
The other thing here, too, with this story is no one wants to take the liability. The civil suits, they're all dancing around who's going to take the civil suit. Who do they go after civilly for impacts if there is an impact? That's where most of this comes back. It always goes back to the business. Where's my return on investment? Where am I going to get my fines? Am I going to get hit with customers? Is it going to hurt my brand? That's where most of this comes into play.
Yeah, that makes sense. That checks out right there. When it comes to legal stuff, people do not want to be on the end of the legal beating stick. and find themselves in front. Sounds funny now, doesn't sound funny in front of a judge, right? As we like to say. All right, great question, though. Great question. Here's a question for me, very important one. It is from Kevin Sullivan. What kind of music am I into? All kinds. I like a lot of different kinds of music. I like rock. I like blues. I like country. I like classical. I like anything guitar oriented because I'm into guitar, obviously. But yeah, classic rock. You name it, man. There's tons of good music out there. Fleetus, what are you typically listening to?
Most of it is non-lyrical. I just like to hear background. It's a lot of jazz. It's a lot of classical. It's a lot of just something that they have white noise in the background. My kids will turn on certain things, but for the most part, I don't need to hear someone's lyrics at the moment. I just want to hear. I sound like a grumpy old man over here. I just really just want some noise in the background just so that I don't hear the voices in my head all day long.
Get off of my lawn, you filthy kids.
Yep.
I'm keeping this ball too. That's my impression of Fleetus today.
I'll take it.
Fun stuff.
I'll take it.
Fun stuff. All right, we got Fred on. Says, I feel like today is the best day to do a double pour monster. What do you say? I have mine ready. Man, I'd be bouncing off the walls, even though I probably could use it, to be honest with you, because I am tired. I stayed up way too late trying to get audio to work for the show today. And the system that I had set up before totally flaked on me because I came in last time, like, let me just go make sure everything's working for tomorrow. It's good. Have had no problems. Nothing worked. I'm like, what is happening? I'm troubleshooting left and right. I came here. I was in for 4 hours. Ended up having to use a completely different setup, but I got it to work. And I think that just goes to show you that to make it in this game, kids, you can never give up. You can never surrender. The thing in front of you cannot beat you.
So
yes.
here's the true question: is this setup going to break in real life in about 45 minutes?
So I feel like no. It is much simpler. So the last setup that I had was actually quite a bit of complexity to it. So I'm not surprised that it flaked out on me too much. The software and everything that I'm using to make it all work now is more professional, and it has been rock solid, very easy, very nice. I'm using this product called Mixline to get all the inputs to come into one input so that I can use that as what you're all hearing. Working great and so easy to, very simple and easy to get set up. Man, it's head and shoulders above what I had before. So but these are the trials and tribulations we go through as people that try to bring you good content every day, folks. All right, let's get into more questionos. What do we got here? Cyber Risk Witch asking, is aging out of tech a thing in cybersecurity, or do you think it's overblown?
Yes and no.
Yep. Absolutely, positively, maybe.
So when I say this, and I think I've shared this on here before, there are certain people, and let me preface before I say this. I was at a senior leadership dinner, and some of you will find this funny. We were talking about people leadership. We were talking about like your first 60, 90 days on the job. And I decided I'm going to talk about the DIE model. I don't know why I thought it would be important to talk about distributed, immutable, and ephemeral, and how that relates to people. But yes, there are some people on your team who are your pets. You take care of them, you love them, you need them around. And then there's a few on your team who can be your cattle. They're there for a job, they're there for a season, and you move on. So yes, you can age out. I have a lot of friends who've done mainframe security. Well, mainframe security is still a niche. There's a place for it, but if they don't want to learn a new trick, they will age out when that mainframe goes away. Cloud has taken, back to my DIE model, away from your pets. You don't get to caress that syslog server because it's spun up and spun down, or it's moved around, and it's not writing the lyrics all by myself over the holiday for you to come back to and read.
Yeah. So got to keep those skills on point, got to stay up to date with what's going on, stay current, stay relevant. That is a constant struggle for people because it's you never stop learning. It's easy to get burned out from doing that.
Yep.
Trust me. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. We all end up finding ourselves there at one point in time. like I said, you need to, I said this earlier, got to get outside. You got to step away from the keyboard on a regular basis, move into doing other things, have some other hobbies. And that way you're not so frazzled and fried so that you can stay on top of that. The other side of that the coin when it comes to aging out of tech is the ageism. Whether or not ageism is going to be a thing is obviously going to be specific to wherever it is that you're working. Some
Yep.
have experienced it, some have never experienced it, but you do need to be aware that it is there and it does happen where you're the older person there, or you're trying to get a job as an older person. You bring a lot to the table as far as experience and knowledge, probably, but that also means that you're probably more expensive. And that does take account into some people's play. Now, you could be awesome, and they just be like, we don't care. Here's what we're offering. If you're willing to take that and come on, blah, 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 that's totally fine. But there are people that go, well, I can hire somebody that just got out of college. And yeah, they won't have your years of experience and knowledge base, but they are cheap. So, I mean, every now and then it just does come down to the bottom line. So you probably will experience that to some extent.
Yeah, there
Hopefully
are
not.
there are certain roles, to Daniel's point, that like it's nice to have that fine wine, but the cheap will do. The cheap store Costco wine is appropriate for the season in which the company is in. So don't take it personal when your years of experience is what's keeping you from actually being qualified. And that sounds funny, for being qualified for that job.
Yeah, it's. I'm just sitting here thinking you're making the wine analogy, and I'm like, there are some organizations out there just drinking maraschino cherry juice with their hobo margarita. Like it does the job, right?
It's the Mad Dog off the bottom shelf of the grocery store.
That's right. Thunderbird and Cisco, right? They're like nothing but wild Irish rose for us. Oh, we're having fun now. All right, this one comes from Rogue Ferula. What does the passing of digital ID mean for cybersecurity? You familiar with this, Fleetus?
The only thing I can think of is if you're talking about the digitalization of our physical IDs or passkeys, but I don't know if that's what they're meaning. I'm going to go at it from the states. Several states in the U.S. are now digitalizing your driver's license and your ID cards, so you don't have to physically turn them in. Again, having that on your phone, we've talked about before, your phone is your single point of failure. So if everything is on your phone and you lose that phone, your MFA is gone, but now your identity is actually gone because that's where your passport or your ID is stored on it. So are you going to carry two phones? Can you afford to carry two phones? Do you want to have that much attack surface? Because now both phones have it, so you can leave one laying, pick it up. So that's how I'm going after this. I think there's a whole new industry, and I know some high-level security folks working on this. That I'm curious to see where it's going to go. But I think like anything else, is it encrypted? Where is it encrypted? And how do you manage it as a person to protect if it's lost or stolen?
Yeah, good answer. Thank you, Fleetus, for that. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on exactly what they mean by that. So, but good question. Does start a conversation, something to write down and go, let me look into this a little bit more. So I really appreciate those types of questions that come in for us. All right. And it shows that we're not perfect. We don't know everything about everything. And I am easily I will quickly go, oh no, that's a great question. Speaking of great questions from Roswell, UK, how do you choose a C2 for an engagement? And what's your favorite dinosaur? That's specifically directed toward me. We'll get to that. But Fleetus, I know you don't red team often, if at all, but have you ever played with C2s? You ever done any C2ing?
So most of my C2s are places that companies already go. So I'm leveraging a Google Drive. I'm leveraging something that you're used to going to, a box, a Dropbox, anything I can host something that I can get it to, or I'm going to weaponize a site that you're going to get my connection and to go back to. So using weaponized PDFs to get you to call back home, because I know you're going to go to that Italian shop. Your executive admin is going to go download that menu and pass it around to all the executives who are going to open up on all their laptops. And now I have a foothold into all of the executives plus the admin. Yes, Daniel appreciates that one. But that's Trojanizing things is very easy in mom and pop restaurants where they don't realize that I can redirect their PDF menu to my S3 bucket where I can give it to you and I can track you.
That's a smart move right there, kids. You listen to
This is
to
for
Pappy
educational
Cletus.
purposes only. This is educational purposes only.
That's right. Only on official engagements or with express permission or things that you own do you do any of that business.
In writing, not verbally. In writing.
That's right. Notarized, like 6 witnesses. You better be standing on a clock holding today's newspaper. That kind of stuff. Because if you get caught doing that without permission, you're going to get in trouble. That said, for me, here's how it's going to boil down to. So if you ask, how do I choose a C2 for an engagement? If I work for a shop, they're choosing the C2 for me, most likely. They have a license for Cobalt Strike, Brute Ratel. Again, I cannot remember. Is it Nighthawk for CrowdStrike? I want to say it's Nighthawk. Anywho, they're going to choose that because they bought a license. It's a professional product. You are the professional that they've hired to use their professional products, and you're just going to use what they give you, which is fine. That's going to be awesome, actually, because they're usually really good products. If you are doing freelance work, then the onus is on you to figure out exactly what it is that you're going to use. So that's going to come from you being familiar with whatever C2 you like, that you have checked the operational security around, that it works well. You're not going to get popped by their blue team. So if you're kind of working on a freelance system, you're contracting out, then you get to choose your C2. And that's just going to be a one-size-fits-one solution. Whatever you like is the one that you're going to go with. And I would hopefully suggest that you get out there and kind of do some OPSEC checking on that. What will it trigger on? What will alert for this thing? And what kind of things can you use it with? That said, when it comes to my favorite dinosaur, my favorite dinosaur is a Stegosaurus. Stegosaurus. And I have yet to have anybody complete that CTF. I made a CTF a while ago, and no one solved it. And it's simple. You might want to look at that Stegosaurus a little bit closer. Check that file out. Maybe you find something very interesting. If you find it, just post it in whatever live stream, because there's a flag. Post it in whatever live stream. Yep. We only got about 4 minutes left. So, yeah, let's keep going. Let's get one more question, and then we'll call it a day. And then I got to get ready for my stuff. This one's from Kyle to Fleetus. How goes the new job?
It's going. 2 weeks in, got my first paycheck, so I can call myself an employee.
Oh, that's a nice thing, right?
No,
That's nice.
To be all honesty, working in a manufacturing place is a nice breath of challenges. And when I say breath of challenges, it's because they're heavily regulated, but a very small team. So it makes it very fun for us to figure out where we want to go, how we want to go, what do we want to prioritize, which P1 is a P1 of the 20 P1s. So.
That's a good question to ask, isn't it? Let's see here. Looking for more questions, just trying to get through. Here's one. Oh, James McQuiggan dropping in. That's right. And that's why we got to get out of here almost ASAP. We got just a couple minutes left. New episode series of Simply Secured goes live after this jawjacking. So you got to jump on that. And they'll finish up at 10 a.m. when I go live for I got Simply Cyber on the brain for Cybercast IRL. So man, the hits just keep on popping here, right? You gotta follow the bouncing ball, which is not easy to do. So make sure that you guys go check out Simply Secured right after we get done here. I'm gonna call it quits here, and just after this next question. Oh, this is just a fun one. Fleetus the Third, can you tell us a bit about Fleetus the First and the Second? Sounds like a royal line.
Yeah, quick here. Great grandmother, from before she passed, pretty much we kept asking how she came up with Fleetus. Carlton's my first name, so we can do the Carlton if you ever want to see it in person. It's very fun. But she picked it up from a 1907 radio soap opera. So it's my grandfather grew up in a small manufacturing textile, and then my father. And then to be transparent, I tried going by Carlton when we moved once. I was a military child, but my friends and family, or my family still called me Fleetus, so my friends started calling me Fleetus, so I stuck with Fleetus. And because it's Carlton, Fleetus Poston the Third, it does, like you say, be a nice nameplate if I ever wanted a nameplate on an office on a door, or if I wanted to run for political office, which I probably will not do, but could.
I like it. Interesting. All right, kids, we're going to let you guys go. Thank you so much, Fleetus, for joining us for Jawjacking today. And thank you for joining us for both the Daily Cyber Threat Brief and Jawjacking. I hope you have a great day. Don't forget to jump over to James McQuiggan's podcast right after this. I think
Just for
somebody dropped the
clarification,
link.
is it the Discord AMA at 1 p.m. today too? Is that correct? Can someone in chat
I
confirm
do
that?
not know. So someone check that out and let Fleetus know, because I don't know.
I couldn't remember if it's or not. But.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you next week. Until then, stay secure.